So what is the state doing to cure the housing market in Utah? Well, right now, lawmakers are meeting on Capitol Hill to discuss some options, and they've come up with some great ideas. So on this video, I'm going to cover the latest bills that they're talking about, and I think that some of these bills are very interesting, and I do like the progress that they're making. So let's talk about it on today's video right now. And welcome to the Living in Utah channel. I'm Mike Gallagher. I'm a local real estate agent. And if you want to learn everything about the state of Utah, you've come to the right channel. If you want to find out more, and when I'm releasing a new video, you may consider tapping that subscribe button down below and hitting that bell notification. Apart from making videos, I help people buy or sell real estate in Utah. So if I can be of any assistance, I'll put my contact information on the screen, and it will also be in the show notes. It's no secret that the housing market has had some challenging times in Utah and around the country. We've had inventory shortages, higher prices, higher interest rates, all leading to a crisis. So is there anything that can be done to help solve the problem? Well, I think so. So as we speak, and over the last couple of months, lawmakers have been meeting on Capitol Hill to look over some plans on how to ease the burden. And when I look at the bills that have been presented in general, I feel that the lawmakers are trying to make it easier to develop homes and to build more homes at a more cost-effective price point. So there is some hope. And they're trying to make some uniform standards all across the state. It's a tough job because they're trying to make a balance between protecting property rights and increasing the housing supply across the state. It's a little bit of a juggling act. And one bill that I really like is called House Bill 174. And in the text of the bill, they are trying to streamline the subdivision process, meaning that cities would only hold one initial public hearing for an application to subdivide land. If the application complies with existing zoning requirements, city officials would need to approve it. And I really like this bill because it's one of the #1 complaints that I hear about. Developers go in and it might take them years to get a subdivision approved before they can even build one particular house. And I think this bill is trying to create a standard where if the developer meets all the requirements that the city has laid out, then the development should be approved. I came across another bill that I really like also. It is House Bill 364. And in this bill, they are going to build on legislation that was passed in 2019 and 2020 to encourage local officials to plan and zone for affordable housing. And I really think this is very important, and I think it's overlooked by many cities and counties. There needs to be a plan in place for the development of affordable housing. And there's one more bill that I came across called House Bill 406, which relates very similar to House Bill 174, kind of like ties into that particular House bill. And in this particular bill, they want to focus on reducing regulatory barriers and standardizing rules around development agreements, moratoriums, and development standards to provide more predictability and uniformity. And it's another bill that I back 100%. I think we do need a streamlined process. Everything is laid out. Things can move a little quicker when we're talking about developing and building homes. So how much money is going to be spent on housing and homelessness? That's a big question. Most of these bills require money to get them going. Well, this year they're going big. They plan on spending an additional $198 million on top of what they've done in previous years. But even if the bills get passed and the funding gets approved, it'll be hard to predict the real impact on Utah's affordability crisis. I have my own opinion. I feel that the most that can happen with the new funding and the new bills is that we might be able to stabilize the current market So if you're looking for a home on 1 acre, 3,000 to 4,000 square foot in northern Utah or southern Utah for $100,000, I don't think it's going to happen. That price point was about 40 years ago. I have another question. Is Utah doing too much to help developers? It's a great question. Most of these bills seem to help the developers. What about the existing homes? What about interest rates? Is it a possibility that some legislation could be brought to address these particular needs? Something I think about all the time. I feel more needs to be done for first-time home buyers. Could we provide grants for a first-time home buyer, or maybe a lower interest rate for a certain period of time? Maybe the first 5 years it's at a reduced rate and then the rate bumps back up. Could we provide tax incentives for purchasing your first home? As most of us know, once you are a homeowner, it's very rare that you go back to being a renter. Most people who own a home will upgrade and purchase a second home and maybe a third home and maybe a fourth home during their lifetime. Back up to the question, is the state doing too much for developers? I think in my opinion, yes, they are. Most of the legislation will benefit developers, but we need more houses. And it takes builders and developers to accomplish this. And it's no big secret that many of our state legislatures are tied to the real estate industry. And many of them are investors in real estate. But I think that most of them understand that something needs to be done or we will become a society of lifetime renters. The big boys, the Wall Street money will come in and buy up more and more homes and turn them into rentals. And this problem is not just in Utah. It's across the United States. Matter of fact, it's across the world. There are many countries fighting the exact same issue. And I do worry, will today's youth be able to afford a home in 20 years? Some days my answer is no. With the Wall Street money that's coming in, buying up more and more homes, turning them into rentals, it just creates a bigger supply problem. And eventually we may become a society of renters. And in conclusion, that's some of the things that are being done in the state of Utah. If you have any kind of questions, by all means, reach out to me. Glad to answer anything that I can. And until the next video, take care. Stay safe.